The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
And I was like, yes, hi. I was so excited.
Oh, we said hi. We need to hi again.
Okay, hi.
A guy get to a point and he asks you to marry him, he really wants to marry you.
Mm-hmm. He ready.
Like he really feels like, you know what, she's the one. She's the one.
You already getting the goods. You got to pay for it. Bring me the ring and get on one knee.
Okay.
Or two.
You need time to observe someone and really get a sense of how well do they treat you, how well do they handle adversity.
You're not the one because you don't have the grit, the perseverance. You ain't really want me because you ready to give up. Because I said no. Nah, you shouldn't have asked. But since I said no, now it's your job to stay in the game and try to fight for it.
Boy, on 5 Heartbeats, when you make the announcement you're going solo at the awards ceremony.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to One Eye Shut, a podcast about many topics from the perspective of 3 married couples. Thanks for checking back in this week. As always, we are so glad that you are here. You can listen to us at defylifepods.com, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, any of the popular podcast platforms out there. Welcome back to our show. Today is April 21st, the day after 420. I hope you guys who acknowledge and celebrate 420 had an awesome day yesterday. I think this year, for the first time, probably in a few years, I didn't even acknowledge it. Al, did you acknowledge 420? Did you do anything special? Did you?
Nah, it wasn't nothing special.
I don't even think I said happy 420 to anybody yesterday. The day just kind of, I don't know, the day just kind of slipped on by. But anyway, good to be back. I took a little break last week. Something last minute came up, and I wasn't able to make it. But Ladine stepped it up and hosted last week. I listened to the show, and she did a fantastic job. So big ups to Ladine. Thank you for stepping up and being there for a sister. Really appreciate you. I don't know. Maybe we should. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about that off air. But anyway, all right, y'all. So, how you doing? What's your word for the day? Let's start with JR today. What you got for us, JR?
I was afraid this was going to happen.
I haven't started with you in a minute.
I know. I was like, man, I keep thinking, you know, how the kid, you don't answer no questions in class in a long time. You're like, I'm getting away with this shit. It's going to catch up with me eventually. Well, welcome back. We missed you.
Thank you.
You know, but, you know, that your energy was definitely missed. But big ups to my wife for stepping in. My word for the day. Oh man. I'm off kilter. I'll put it that way. Like, it's cold outside. I'm sleepy in the middle of the day. I don't know what was wrong up today, but it don't feel like spring. Like, it feels like I got up to watch like Monday Night Football or something. It don't feel like the right season. It just feels weird. I'm off kilter. So tomorrow's my Friday, so I'm gonna deal with that and enjoy and hopefully get back on point because something ain't right. I don't feel right. I took a nap. I don't ever take naps. It's weird.
Why is tomorrow your Friday?
The entire building's power is going to be out there updating systems Friday, so we can't work. So the entire plant is going to be out of power while they update systems over the weekend. So will be no work Friday. So it's not a holiday. It's just no work.
I have never seen anybody
Oh, I thought
as
you meant I ain't
much.
never seen that happen.
No. I mean, I just ain't never seen anybody have as many days off that's paid for that's not personal time or vacation time. Like, dude, you just been lucking up on
Hey man, don't say
getting
that too
paid
loud.
and not having to work.
Don't say that too loud. They might find out. So,
All right. I'll back up. I'll let the universe do what it do.
right.
Ladine, what you got going on today?
Yes. Wow. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well,
Ooh,
no,
ooh. Okay.
No ma'am. No ma'am.
what am I doing?
I don't know.
Let's see. Today has been a really great day. I kicked some butt with work I had to do today. I feel good. Excuse me. I woke up with energy. I slept really well. And I don't know, that's a big difference for me. Really big difference. So I'm grateful for the sleep I got, quality sleep, grateful for the energy I've had all day. I'm not going to use grateful, but yeah, I am. I'm going to use grateful. Grateful is the word of the day because today's been a great day. So grateful, R-E-A-T, and grateful, G-R-A-T-E. So yeah, everything has been fabulous. So yeah, very grateful. Good day.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Maybe you are or will be able to balance out Jay a little bit, share some of your joy and gratefulness to help him get back, get him centered again.
Girl, he'll be fine once he got a couple hours to himself. He'll be great.
All righty then. Keita.
And grateful.
Great and grateful. Okay. Keita, what you got?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
I am a little off-centered today, so I would say I feel a little defeated. I'm not in the best mood, but things just haven't been going right today. But like they say, I'll bounce back. Give me some rest or whatever it may be. But yeah, I feel a little defeated. Nothing. I haven't accomplished anything today.
Okay. Some days are like that.
Yeah.
You'll make up for it tomorrow.
There you go.
Thomas.
Okay, well, I hate to continue the trend, but my word is deflated. I just deflated, whichever I guess context you want to use it. But I just felt like I had to win, taken out of my cell. Yesterday, of course, the verdict. That was, that was a small win, small win for us. And then as soon as we hear about that, do we hear the unraveling of the 16-year-old, young lady getting shot and killed in front of her home. So that took a lot out of me, so I felt it was almost bittersweet. Had this high, and then I immediately, the wind taken out of my sails, and I felt deflated.
That is definitely understandable. There's a lot of emotions going on yesterday, and I guess continuing to happen. But we'll get back to that in just a minute. Al, how you doing?
I am. Hey, what's up, co-host? How y'all doing? As always, happy one eye shut day. What's going on, listeners? What's my word to the day? My word for the day is
Come on, Al.
I had to I had to reach because I had a word, but somebody took my word, so I had to reach. So I'm going with family. I had a opportunity this weekend to see uncles, aunts, a few cousins, and although it was a physically taxing experience it was a turnaround, one of the midnight runs where you get up really early, drive 3-4 hours, spend the day, and then later sometime that day you drive 3 or 4 hours and come back and get home around 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. So it was, by the time I got in, I was pretty tired physically, but it was well worth it to just spend time with people who it just feels like home, like just good, 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 good time. And then today, I guess family, I had the opportunity to make my sister laugh, and she said she really needed it, and she had one good laugh. So, kind of at my expense, sort of, as I was sharing some times as a child. And I think, just funny stories. And so, yeah, that's my word of the day, family.
Family, always, always a good word. My word or words, well, my state of being is emotionally drained. I'm just tired. It's just a lot going on. So last night I made the statement, like, I cannot believe it's just Tuesday. Like, I felt like the week, like so much had happened already that it couldn't have just been 2 days into the week. Just a lot of running around. Nephew had an accident at school on Monday, didn't have a change of clothes, had to run up there and get him a change of clothes. Yesterday, I spent all day from urgent care to emergency room with my mom. And in between having to pick up these same children because there was a fire at the building or whatever. So it's just a lot juggling, and that's like physically taxing. But, my mother is aging and her health is declining. And sometimes it feels rapidly and sometimes it feels very slowly. But either way, it's painful to watch. To watch it happening, to watch her become someone that is completely foreign and antithetical to everything that she has been all of my life. So it's just a lot. Then we have the verdict yesterday. And for some reason, it didn't really hit me emotionally until today. And I think it was because of the space that I was in. And as I facilitated a session, we just kind of gave space for people to be whoever they needed to be around the verdict. But yesterday, it was more of and maybe it was because I was involved with my mother and at the hospital and blah, 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 that it just wasn't. I don't know. And then when I heard that the verdict was coming, I bet it was in, but we wouldn't hear about it for another hour or however long they waited. That actually angered me a little bit, I guess, because I did not understand the why. And it kind of felt like, I don't know, it felt like sensationalism. It felt like a tool or a strategy to, I don't know. But of course, I'm glad that the verdict was what it was. I have mixed feelings about it and what it means. And so I guess, for the first, I don't know, however long, let's just share. Thomas already started us off, and I guess I've continued it. But let's just share how we felt, what it brought up for us, and what do we think it means, or what the impact is for you, or what you think it might be for society or whatever. I was not surprised. I really thought that he was going to be guilty. I guess I didn't think about if he would be guilty for all 3 charges. But I think it was one of those instances that was just very different from all of the rest.
in that there wasn't really anything that the defense could lean on to support his actions. A lot of the other cases, there was always something, whether it was police protocol or, some misunderstanding or mistaken whatever. There really wasn't anything that they could use as a reasonable to eliminate all doubt, I guess. So, we'll see what happens with the sentencing. There's a lot of rumors and speculation going on about that. So we'll see what happens. I have a hard time calling it a win, or while I understand the sentiment behind it, I just have a hard time seeing it as a win or referring to it in that manner. I don't know. All right, so who has anything they would like to share? Just jump in. I don't know who wants to speak, so I'm not going to call names. So if you have something you want to share about the verdict or the situation, just jump in.
Nobody?
I was.
Oh, y'all gonna be quiet?
Right, I was-
Crickets?
No. I just thought, I was excited. Do you understand me? I was crying. I had chills. I was watching the news. I was crying. Oh my goodness. The chills just wouldn't stop going through my body. Like it felt so good. It felt so, I don't want to say it felt reassuring. Of course, I definitely had a bunch of mixed feelings about it when I think about it. But yeah, definitely I was excited. I know I was excited. Excitement was definitely part of the of the emotions that was running through my body. Yes, I was like, yes, motherfucker. Yes, like I can't. Oh, it was great. I'm sorry. It's so bittersweet, right? Because a lot of people don't feel that it is justice. I just want to be mindful of. I mean, because it's not, because he can't watch his, he can't raise his daughter. He just can't be the man that he was, and that's not okay. So I get that. But I know, and also not but and also with that, I I'm looking to be mindful with how I say that I don't think that it's justice when we're still looking for justice in some of these other cases. Like we still, search and call for justice with Breonna Taylor and so many of the other open cases. And so I'm just looking to be mindful with that. So I do feel that as far God, morally, legally, in so many different motherfucking ways, yes, justice has been served, but not completely morally. I guess morally on one end, but not on the other. Anyway, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm rambling now, so somebody else jump in. Let's hear how y'all feel.
Yeah, somebody say her
Hmm.
herself.
So I was definitely happy. I followed the trial somewhat, and it was from my following of the evidence, it was pretty clear that this man was guilty. But in past instances where I followed trials and it was clear that people were guilty, they got off in the past. So it was different in that regards. So I was definitely not certain as I was hearing the verdict, but was definitely happy and am celebrating it as a victory because I think we need to acknowledge it as a victory. And not that the fight is over. It's really just a step in the right direction. But it still should be something to look at as a good thing. And I also think it's evidence that the system can work. when people do their job, and that the facts, when they can be considered and people vote based on the evidence, then you hold people accountable. So I like that. And I also think that hopefully people look at this as a sign or evidence or a recipe of what it takes to get accountability. And from the early stages when the prosecutor or the people got behind, like, I mean, initially they was throwing some bullshit out there like this wasn't a murder, and people voiced their protests and said, this is not acceptable. The prosecutors, government put resources behind it, did what they needed to do to really prosecute this case. Cops actually testified against cops, which you don't see a lot. And it's just, it can happen. And so I'm hopeful that more cases like this turn out this way when it occurs, and that when anybody, cop or no cop, takes somebody's life, they get held accountable if they don't have a justifiable offense. I mean, a justifiable reason. So there's no special category for police that you get to take a life of somebody without a justifiable reason. Like, that's not cool.
Right.
Man. So, first of all, how I felt. So, like you, Jen, I was kind of felt confident that they were going to find him guilty when we had to wait to hear the actual verdict. But what scared me was the last time I felt that way was when George Zimmerman was on trial and we were waiting to hear his verdict. And that scared me because, for one, that was kind of the first high-profile case of this matter. So being, that we felt that, like, oh man, we got, at least we got audio and we know what happened. There's no way they're going, we're just waiting to hear it. So that scared me because it's the first time I felt that way since then. And, so I wasn't shocked when I heard the verdict. It was just like waiting to hear it. It was like sitting on pins and needles. And like I said on the show last night, like we can't confuse, accountability with justice. This is accountability. This is what's supposed to happen. It's damn sure ain't justice.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and this one bad apple sentiment is killing me. Whenever somebody says that shit, because the whole damn system is rotten. It ain't broken because it works the way they designed it, but the shit is rotten. And we can't, like, take these one steps and think that we've defeated we've defeated Thanos. The shit is far from over. And we shouldn't have to burn buildings down and riot just to get one case where shit seems right in court. And so it shouldn't. We shouldn't have to go to those measures to get a fair trial. From both sides, and even to hear people like, I hate to hear black bodies being politicized so much. That's from both sides. It's a given most times with the right that they're going to politicize this, but even on the left, Nancy Pelosi's calling, saying thank you, George, for sacrificing your life. Like, he ain't sacrificed himself. The man got killed. It's the way that black bodies are looked at and the way we're devalued. Because I'm sure Nancy Pelosi wouldn't want anybody in her family to to be looked at as some sacrificial lamb. So I'm, relieved that it's kind of like I guess it's like every now and then we get this OJ moment where we're like, oh shit, we won one, but we can't confuse this shit with justice. And this morning I was reading about the cop that killed Breonna Taylor, and he wrote a book, and so now Simon and Schuster was supposed to distribute the book because it's been published. They decided not to distribute it, but it's still out there. It's for sale. Was going to be for sale. And so this dude's going to profit off of her murder. So it's just the devaluation of black bodies and lives that, and now, they're profiting off of our death. So it's sickening in a sense. And like you said, Gene, I'm just waiting to see what kind of tricks they're going to play us on with how much time he gets with the sentencing. So that's where I'm at.
Same here. I definitely had some mixed feelings about it. When I first saw, the verdict or whatever, I was like, yes, like got him, like 3, definitely on all accounts. And then I got emotional, like Lay said. And then I got emotional because then I started thinking about George Floyd and how, he's no longer here. So then after that, then I started thinking how, well, is this justice? You know what I'm saying? Because then eventually we got to wait for the sentencing, And then I thought about how it's still going on and we still have a long ways to go. As far as when, police reform and trying to change the system. And that's going to take so long to do. So that's something I pray about every day because I'm afraid. I'm afraid for our kids once again because with all the noise and the chaos and everything that's going on, you still hear stories every day. How are we getting stopped for stupid stuff? How are we still getting killed? And then how that young lady just lost her life. And then to hear our black people going back and forth about, well, she deserved it. She had a knife in her hand and all this stuff. Like, it's really sickening, just the world itself.
Yeah, and I guess I'll jump back on that, piggyback. I concur a lot with you guys. When I heard the verdict, I only assumed that he was going to be, found guilty. In my mind, I was like, there's no freaking way that that he's going to be found not guilty. There's no way. However, we've seen the cards stacked against, whomever, and they still come out, took it to trial and beat it, so, like I said, I did feel, I felt pretty good about it. And then I was reading the charges, second degree murder, what was it, manslaughter, and I saw what the unintentional, something like that, unintentional murder, and I was like, unintentional, and I saw the years, and what did it start off with, like three maximum of what, 15, something like that. I can't recall, and I was like, oh, okay, here's the catch. Here's the catch. The kid will be out in 5. Here's the catch. The kid will be out in 3. So, and like you guys said here, it's a trap door. It's a trap door somewhere. And it's I guess it's damning that we are so accustomed to it that we know that it just has to be that there's the smoke and mirrors. Okay, we're guilty. Okay, he'll be out in 2.5 years. Here's the haha. You murdered your guys in, cold blood, whatever. He's out in 2.5. So I guess everyone's still leery. Everyone's still leery on that. But just go back, man. It's just it's just a damn shame that it just seemed like we just hadn't gotten anywhere. And the guy was murdered in front of everyone, and we still thought, see, he's gonna walk. He's gonna walk. And it's just the pace that we're moving, and that so-called, America, and the idea that America was built upon, it is just not moving at our pace. They give you the dream that America is what it's supposed to be, the origin, the gumbo of America. However, it's not even a tenth of the way there. Yeah, you can go out. Yeah, you can be, people can be, so to speak, whatever they want to be. They can go out and make millions and millions of dollars and be capitalists. However, even with all of that, you're still not equal, in their eyes, in the eyes of America. So that's just, that's just damning to me.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, in my opinion, we're never going to be equal. And so it's about figuring out, how do we make ourselves as whole as we can be, despite the constant efforts of destroying us, right? And even as you were talking, Thomas, it's just like, we Black people, we people of color in general, we oppress people, right? Like, you live in this constant state of this roller coaster of emotions, right? And around race, like, it's just something that we have to think about all the time. Which is why it's so important that we, employ self-care techniques, right? Like, we have to take care of ourselves emotionally and mentally. Otherwise, we just be fucking bat crazy and be running around just trying not to be killed by these motherfuckers that's trying to kill us. It's something else. And so on that note, one of the self-care techniques that you can utilize is just doing things that you enjoy, right? Having conversations with great people that make you laugh, bring joy, kind of lift your spirits. And it kind of feels like we need our spirits lifted a little bit right now, or at least I need mine lifted. I'll just speak for myself, like, shit. So we're going to switch topics right here and right now. And we're going to lighten it up a little bit and talk about something that I'm sure somebody's story is going to give somebody some laughs out there. And so I want y'all to go down memory lane, back to when you first brought your spouse home to meet your family, or to meet your family, wherever that was. Share with us that story and tell us what your family's reaction or response was to the person that you brought home. Well, not the person, your spouse. Because I don't want you talking about some other motherfucker that you brought to the house. We don't care about them. We're talking about the person you ended up marrying. What was the response? What did your family think, say, feel about your new beau? And wait, add to that, how long did it take you to take your spouse home when y'all started dating?
Oh, that's it. I got to start this one off.
Go ahead, girl.
So wait, how crazy was this, JR? What was it, like our first date?
Mm-hmm.
It was our first date. We get home after our first date. My son was at my sister's house. She was watching him. And my whole family was just always together. My sister had a big ass, like 6-bedroom house. We'd always be at her house. It would be all of us. So anyway.
All of them.
Yeah. So My sister calls me after we get back to the house. I was checking on Ladania, and she's like, "Well, why don't you just bring him here? We're all chilling, we're drinking, we're having fun." I'm like, "Do you want to go to my sister's house?" He was like, "What?" Anyway, he came to my sister's house, and it was great. I mean, I thought I had fun. I know he was scared. I was a little scared at first, but not really, because I think my family is cool. I don't know. Anyway, he came back to the crib. Everybody loved him, and it was a wrap. I mean, I don't really know. A little awkward, but that's what happened, you know? I mean, what are you going to do? Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, I can tell it from my perspective, but that wasn't the question. I mean, it was about what your family thought about me, not how I felt. But, I mean, I was cool. You know, it was a lot of y'all. You know, it was kind of creepy when I walked in. All the kids was lined up on the steps like it was a horror movie. Like, they was really lined up like the Brady Bunch, like, waiting for me to come in. Like, it was, you know. So, like, what kind of Stepford situation did I walk into? But it was good. You know, I love my in-laws, and at the time, you know, they were very welcoming. But you know, you didn't give any insight on what they thought about me, what they say about me. That was the question. I don't want to.
I mean, they loved him. They didn't have a problem with him. I mean, they loved him. My sister was like, "Oh, he's handsome. He's got a job. Okay, yeah."
The bar was low. She set the bar low. I was like, I look good and I work.
Right. No, but they liked him. You know, they thought he had a great personality. They thought he was handsome, well mannered. I mean, everything that he is. So they were like, "Yes, girl, yes." So that's really all it was. Everyone enjoyed him, and they have since. So that's really what it was for me. I mean, and for them.
Okay. JR, what about you? What was the response or the reaction to Ladine when you brought her home? And clearly it wasn't the first date, so how long did it take you to take her or for them to meet her?
So
after y'all?
Lay was introduced to the family like in phases. So
No, your mom, sisters. Is that what you mean, Gina? You mean the whole family? Well, because I guess I didn't answer that right then either.
Well, hell, you didn't answer it right from the
beginning. I didn't. But it's shut up,
we let Jay answer it however he want to answer it.
Yeah, I mean, because when I think of introducing people to my family, I think of my whole family because it's such a big deal to us and to me that my entire family, what they think, so and how they react. So, like initially, Lay met my mom and my older sister Tanya when they came to Atlanta, and we went out to eat, and they came with us. And so they met her there. And
I met Amelia first. Amelia was the
first
person.
You met me, of course, Mill, yeah. So I mean, but you know, Mill ain't judgy, so I wouldn't worry about that.
And Mill and JR were roommates. That's why I met Mill first.
So Mill loved you, of course. And then
I mean, you know.
And then when you met my mom and Tanya, I
was so scared. Sorry.
Yeah, like it was just, you know, how like it's that nervous laugh and everything's like super like loud and weird. So it was just, it was good, but it was awkward because, you know, she wasn't opening up yet. She was being all, you know, shy. I wasn't used to that.
All right. So what did Rain and Tanya say after the dinner?
You know, she was nice, and then, you know, but that she didn't really open up. Like, we had dinner, and she didn't really say much. And then when I saw Wayne, I saw her brother-in-law.
I know
you were.
I was nerve wracked. I'm meeting not he wasn't my husband. I'm meeting my boyfriend's mom and sister at dinner. We're going to dinner in Atlanta, and I have a baby. You know, I had a 15-month-old at the time. It was scary. Like, I didn't know how they were going to see me. I mean, I was also nervous because I'm not a Black woman. And you know, when you're dating, when you're an interracial when you're an interracial couple, I could see you. Like, I could see how JR would have been afraid, you know, to meet my Puerto Rican because it's different. It's different. I was like, oh my God, I hope they're gonna like me. I hope they're gonna like me. Anyway, go ahead, Jay.
So when I talked to Wayne, you know, a couple days after that, he go, boy, you got old Puerto Rican stunner out there. So he, you know, Wayne crazy. So when we found out that, like, and of course, you know, it wasn't long before we found out we were having Lincoln. So I was like, okay, you got to meet everybody. Because I ain't, you know, the first time you meet my family ain't gonna be with, you know, with the baby in our arms. So we got to go meet everybody. So we took a trip.
This nigga took me on a tour around Newberry.
We took a tour around Newberry, man. So we went to go see all the aunts and uncles, and so you know, got to see Uncle Billy, and he got to meet Lay, and little Daniel was with us. Went to go see Uncle Walt.
I got to meet Pop for the first time. That
Pop
was
for
dope.
the first time, right? Everybody, Uncle George, I actually went to go see everybody, and you know, Uncle Billy was like, "Boy, you know," and everybody knew she was pregnant with Lincoln, so Uncle Billy was like, "Boy, family look good on you. You know how he is." And you know, Uncle Walt, he was the first one to say some offensive shit, of course. He
playing his position
when he told Lay, "Yeah, I like Mexican food."
Oh man,
Pop did it to me too. Pop did it to me.
Yeah.
I don't like that spicy food. I don't like spicy. He said,
But
"Can't
yeah,
eat that
that
Mexican food." I'm like, you know what? I can't stand y'all.
She was still hot about the Mexican shit. Like months later, they came to my house for Thanksgiving, and Uncle Walt was like, "Oh, you want to piss her off? Call her a Mexican."
And I don't got no problems with Mexicans. I'm just not Mexican.
Right.
I'm Boricua. I'm proud to be Boricua. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
But you know, everybody was welcoming, and you know, I remember when, I don't know what event we had at Uncle Billy's house, but you know, when we walked in, I remember, and the Detroit family was there, and Tangi was the first one to see her, and she's like, "Oh, she's so pretty," and so everybody just, you know, was very like welcoming, as far as I thought. You know, unless they said some slick shit to you when my back was turned, but everybody was very welcoming. You know, they ain't treat you like they did Reggie.
The jabs just keep on coming.
But
oh man.
but the one thing I remember, so there's I'll fast forward to the first family reunion Lay went to, and Al's sister Alicia, they hit it off. That was the first time that, you know, they was really, really around each other like that. And I could not find my wife because she was always with Alicia. And because, of course, because of course, everywhere they went, these two motherfuckers are smoking everywhere around the beach. So I'm like, where's my right? So,
and that was actually the second reunion.
Was it the second one?
Yeah, it was the second.
Either way, one of the reunions, I could not find you the entire weekend because you was with Alicia the whole time. And Alicia says, "Oh my God, cousin, I never would have thought you would have been the one to bring this hood bitch that I love into the family. I cannot believe it. I love yo." And so I was like, these motherfuckers is crazy. So everybody love Lay. Like, sometimes I think they love her more than they love me. And
he gets jealous. Y'all gotta show him a little bit more love. He gets jealous.
No, it ain't about that. But it's a good thing. Like, I don't have to, you know, it's a good thing that people ask for you, and I'm always, getting good feedback versus, oh my God, this bitch again. Like, I don't want that shit. So,
right.
So
I hate your wife. Here go this bitch.
Right.
Fucking attitude.
Yeah, that's never a good look.
Right. So, the fact that they love a personality. It was good to know that, that my father loved my wife, before he passed. So that was a good thing. And she can cook, so they all love that shit. So, and now the difficult parts are when she gets in full lay mode. And when full lay mode, y'all have heard it here. Y'all 5 and listeners have heard that. And I got a call the other day when my wife did a Facebook Live about customer service. One of my boys called, was like, "Oh my God, your wife's hilarious," but I didn't know she had a potty mouth like that. So there have been difficult times where I had to, like pop her on the hand, like, "Look, man, you in front of my mom. Like, you can't be calling everybody MFs and all this, like, in front of her." Like, but or like
and
my
no,
dad.
I gotta remind myself, because in my family, like, I've always cursed in front of my mom, always, and my dad. So I definitely have to remember to watch my mouth.
Right,
often.
but that's your mom and your dad. I have to remind
Right.
you that when you're in some, when in Rome, So those have been some fiery points of contention. When I have to, like, make that church face, like, if you don't shut the hell up. So, and it still happens. Especially when she's drinking.
Yeah, hard habits are hard to break.
All right. Old habits
But the
die
good
hard.
thing is, Ladine has put in. She's made enough deposits. That
Right.
enough deposits that, while it's not desirable behavior by some, it's soon forgotten because, like you said, the family just loves her. So it's all good. It's all good. Keaton Thomas. What's y'all story? What's y'all story like? Your mama and your daddy liked him?
Well, my mom and dad met Thomas different times. My mom was a little upset because Thomas was already shacking with me a little bit before she met him. But I talked about him a lot. So that's how she knew I had a guy that I was interested in. And so, but after she met Thomas, she's the one that don't really say anything. I mean, as long as she's talking with you and laughing with you, then you good. But I don't think she ever said anything about you, or I never asked, like, what do you think about him? Because I never looked for that confirmation from her, I guess. And who else? Oh, and my dad, Thomas doesn't like for me to say this, say this one. Because he was like, I'm always embarrassing him. But that's the story. But when my dad came down from Maryland, so y'all know I've always talked about my dad. He's a street guy. So he met Thomas for the first time when we were like actually living together. And he came up, I think he came up to me or he came up to Quanda first. I think he came up to my sister, I think. Mm-hmm. He did not like Thomas. He actually did not like him because he thought Thomas was gay. He felt like Thomas was gay.
Well, damn.
Why? Tell us more.
So he was like, why Keita got this gay guy why is she dating this gay guy? And then that's when Corner was like, Thomas is not gay. What are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, because I was hanging out because he's always up at night or whatever. He was like, I just noticed he's always on the phone and he be talking to dudes all the time. So he couldn't relate that Thomas talks to people like Jay on the phone, B's on the phone, and Money on the phone. And he thought he was just this gay ass nigga.
Damn,
Yo,
Pooh.
this is
I love you, man.
hilarious, yo. This is
I'm trying my best not to laugh.
Oh my God, no, but
Don't
it's
call.
great, Poop.
And then this was the era.
It's
This
all
was
good.
the era that Thomas always playing like video games, and he was always on the phone like talking to Jay or Money or whoever else. And he just, my dad, he's not that type of guy. He's strictly like, you know what I'm saying, like fast chasing type guy, street, whatever. And he did not get along with that. So I was like, Daddy, why would you say something like that? Dan, I was like, dang well I wouldn't talk to no gay man. I said, Thomas is not gay. I said, that's just how his friends are.
I tried.
Oh, wait a minute. You said that's how his friends are. His friends are gay?
His friends are gay, right? Like, what?
Right? You're right. What are you trying to say?
And I told Jay in it too.
Right. I'm like, damn, Pops it through all us in there.
Ass husband in there. What's going on?
Yeah, I didn't know you was gay.
But
Hey,
he
that
really thought that.
That
But
wasn't me. I don't play
after
video
he get
games.
to know Thomas or whatever, and we were together, he think Thomas is the best. So he loves him. He talks to and want to talk to Thomas and get confirmation from him all the time. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. You're not gay no more, Poe.
I'm glad you convinced me you wasn't gay, Thomas.
Yeah, it's all good.
You delivered.
It's all good. It's all good.
What about you, Thomas? When you took Keita? Well, first, wait. Let me back up. Keita, how come it took you so long to introduce him to your parents? Like, y'all were past the dating stage. Y'all were living together. Well, half shacking with your mama and fully living with your...
Remember, we did it kind of fast, though.
I met her mom pretty fast. Because I ended up meeting her mom because her brother, like, probably as soon as we started, like, living together, she was with roommates. And I was about to go home and for graduation because I was done in December. So I was moving back home and, into graduation. And she was like, well, you about to graduate in, 2 months. You can go ahead and crash here. And I was like, nah, I ain't want to, know about that. She was like, nah, you good. You can crash here. So I started crashing there. And her brother got out the military. And we met her brother in Augusta, like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, man, what's going on? So we go pick up this guy in a snowstorm. That was a blizzard. So
he was stuck.
So but 2 days later, so half of her family, most of her family came over to her apartment to have, a little something for her brother. So that's when I met her mom, and her dad was still in Baltimore. So I met her mom rather quickly after we moved in together. So it wasn't that long. But like she always went to Sumter. I never went to Sumter, and she didn't go to Newberry either. Not like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. What about your introduction?
Let me think, man. Okay, so I think the first time she met my parents was at graduation.
Mm-hmm.
It was at graduation. So she met him. I introduced her, but she said I didn't introduce her as my girlfriend. So I was like, oh, I didn't realize it, but I guess she brought that up. But I don't really recall, like my mom is happy-go-lucky. She's a very, very easy person. So you got to really be out the box really for my mom not to like you. So of course my mom was like, Pooshi's nice. I like her. Poochie got a big butt. Mama did say that, but my dad, the guy's so funny, man. I guess his ego is bananas. So he met her and he was like, yeah, you just like that. Huh? I was like, man, get your ass out of here. So but I guess that was his way of giving a compliment that, she was, attractive young lady. So, but I got him. So, but other than that, like, it was nothing. So she met mom, dad, and I took her down to meet my grandmother, and that was it. It wasn't nothing, elaborate, too funny, because all of those guys are like mad, easygoing people. They're not gonna really say much. But if my grandmother, my mom's mom, she's a totally, different animal. I think she had passed, so she would have carried on just to carry on. So, but everything was pretty easy, pretty smooth with those people. Everything's pretty easy.
Okay. Al, what about your introduction? How'd that go?
So I don't remember the first time, but I definitely remember that initially my mother and probably my sister too didn't like you and were treating you. They weren't treating you
like shit.
They weren't
Is
treating
that
you
the
with
phrase
the
you
respect and kindness.
I wasn't expecting that, Gina.
No, I wouldn't. Hey, Al, I wasn't expecting you to say that either. Like,
they were giving her they were mushing her. Like, they really wasn't saying hello. I mean, it was like obvious. My mom's was a pretty nice social person most times. And she would walk into a room and like just walk right by my wife. It was just some real foul shit, really real talk. To where I had to actually address it with my moms and be like, you can't keep doing it. Like, this is my girlfriend, and she had attachment to my previous girlfriend. So was just treating her that way. And I was just like, that shit ain't right. That ain't cool. You can't do that. But it took me to answer your question of how long, but that was we had probably been seeing each other at that point. I mean, probably 6 to 9 months. It probably was that first summer when you probably are coming around. I don't think I brought you around like your freshman year. It probably wasn't until the summer where I'm trying to kind of now bring you around, and the old girlfriend is still hanging around the crib. She was kind of working for my mom's, and my mom still had a relationship with her. So it was real awkward. And she was dating a good friend of mine. So a good friend of mine has my ex-girlfriend in the cipher. As we go places, we're hanging out. My mom's is still hiring her and keeping a relationship. And I'm like, I'm trying to establish this new girlfriend into my life. Like, but this is who I'm dating. And all right, if y'all want to keep her around, y'all can keep her around. I can't make y'all get rid of her, but she's not going nowhere. And eventually, and I think that had something to do with it in terms of how my mom's changed how she looked at her. Like, I ain't never stepped to her really too often like that. So I think that was a sign to her, like, one, all right, maybe I was a little foul. Okay, you called me out. But two, maybe I need to rethink this because he seems to be kind of serious. So from then on, it was definitely a much, 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 much better relationship. And, she loved her by the time we got married. But initially, she was definitely mushing her. The extended family, like the Glimps, I think they pretty much liked you from the jump. I mean, by the time you start coming around in, we definitely are a couple. Probably was that Thanksgiving dinner out in Jersey where they might have met you for the first time for real. Where you said one of my cousins had some type of learning disability. Who does that, right? Who meets your family for the first time, and then as we leaving, as we going home, discussing the night, is like, yo, but that one right there, what's wrong with him? Like, huh? Ain't nothing wrong with him. Stop doing that. Yes, it is. And we having a little argument. Like, who does that? But anyway, no.
Oh,
Anyway.
you don't want me to chime in there?
It's all good.
I'm
It's
just
all
letting
good.
you
It's all
talk.
good.
I'm just letting you talk. But real talk, y'all already know.
So, but for the most part, my northern glimpse took you in pretty well, pretty quick. And then I think by the time you meet the uncles down south is probably that first family reunion you were allowed to go to.
Allowed. I can't stand when you say this.
I'm just saying there should be rules to this. You shouldn't bring everybody around the Glen family reunion. They need to earn and
gotta earn.
That's how I was raised to treat it. So the first family reunion while we were dating, we thought about it, but like, no, you can't come to this one, not yet. And we waited to the next one, and I think that was the right move.
I've been trying real hard not to interject.
It ain't easy. But for the most part, my uncles, aunts took to you pretty fast, all of them, and yeah, I think that's my memory of it.
So y'all, it was straight ridiculous. So he don't want to use the terminology that I use, but she did. She treated me like shit. And it's funny because I don't remember it being awkward, like, because the ex-girlfriend, was at the house all the time. Like, and so, like,
no.
that's because her and his mother were friends. I mean, she worked for her, but really they were friends. She liked her, and that's apparently who she wanted her son to be with. And so she was giving me the hand, I guess, hoping that I would go away so that he could get back with the ex-girlfriend. Right. So I don't remember I never felt threatened by the ex-girlfriend. I was annoyed because I'm like, who the fuck does this? Like, who does this? Like, I just was not used to that kind of behavior. Like, you're the ex-girlfriend, so why are you here? And my mother and I don't. Well, actually, we haven't. Like, we just didn't make friends with like she didn't make friends with her children's boyfriends. Like, it just wasn't that kind of party, and we haven't really done that with our children either. Like, it's just not that kind of party. So I didn't really like. It was just so foreign to me. But I did get tired of seeing the girl. Like, I just like, but more from the perspective of like, you looking real foolish right now. I don't understand why you're here. But his mom's like, yeah, it was the straight. Just, I'm giving you the business. Never said anything, never was nasty to me verbally, just kind of ignored me, just kind of act like I wasn't there. Probably invited the ex-girlfriend over when she thought I might be coming over. I don't know. But eventually, his mom's wrote me this beautiful letter and apologized. She was just like, I know that was fucked up and I should have never done that. And welcome, and I'm sorry. And so that was like really huge.
Wow.
Right.
But did she think he was gay? No.
Be sure.
True that.
Pretty sure. Yeah, and Al and I met in 88 and started dating, I guess, by the end of 88. And so that summer was 89 was a family reunion, right? And I was not allowed, and it wasn't allowed, Ladine, because while it was mentioned, he was just like, nah, like, it ain't time yet, blah, blah, blah. And that was another something that was foreign to me, but I respected that. And actually, it was good. It was good. And so ironically, our children, well, I don't know if it's ironic, but our children are the same way. And so we don't typically meet people for a minute, and they have brought no one to any of the family events, although from the talks of it, that'll be different. Like little Alvin was going to bring Mael to the reunion, had it not been canceled. So it's yeah, interesting. So I cannot remember when. I guess it was the summer. Yeah, I guess he's right. Maybe it was the summer after my freshman year. I just remember Al coming to the house. My mother did not. Um, she was very skeptical. She didn't care for. Let's me call it what it was. She didn't care for him at first, and it's because Al is very different um, than we were. I was raised very sheltered, very like prim and proper, very there are rules and you follow the rules. And you look a certain way, you talk a certain way, you go to church, like it was just all this stuff. And Al was none of that. Right. So he didn't go to church. He liked hip hop, which, my mother still doesn't understand or appreciate. Um, he cursed, just the opposite of everything that she was and probably what she wanted for her daughter. And so I remember, like, even before he opened his mouth, there was marks against him because Alvin showed up at my house. And you know what? I wasn't saying summertime because of what you were wearing, but really now that I think of it, I'm not sure what season it was because he had on a long sleeve shirt and shorts. You remember Alvin had on a red long sleeve t-shirt, some white shorts, and red and white valleys. But the issue that my mother had with the outfit was that this motherfucker was rough dry. I mean, like the shorts looked like they were balled up in a clothes basket after you take it out of the dryer. You know that look, like when you just keep it in that basket for a few days and it just gets those hard, just wrinkled because it's all balled up. Like that's how he came.
Probably was sitting in
It
some
probably was.
bag or some shit like that for months.
But that's how he came because that's who he is. Still to this day. Like he just doesn't. He's not a friend. Him and the Iron just don't have a relationship at all. When it comes to social clothes. And so she just looked and was just like, what the fuck? Like, yeah. So it wasn't, yeah, she wasn't crazy about him. It didn't take too long, though, I don't think, before she began to see like glimpses of, his positive qualities. She still couldn't let go of all the other stuff, but she started slowly but surely appreciating who he was. My sisters, my my sister Norma loved him from the jump because my sister Norma, she was pretty street, right? And so they connected on that, like from around the way kind of vibe. So she loved him from the beginning. Stephanie was a little more leery, somewhere between, I guess, my mother and Norma. But by the end of it all, she loved him as well. So everybody eventually, like once they got to know him, really, they don't have a problem with him. Him and my mother now, it's like really interesting to watch their relationship and how it has evolved. And they've just kind of come to this mutual understanding. And there are days where he speaks to her, has more conversation, more like than I do. So it's pretty cool for them to have that relationship. Yeah. Yeah. My family, my mother though would never treat him like shit, regardless of how she felt about it. Look at he looked at me. I'm just asking you to do that kind of stuff. But yeah,
I guess it's the definition of being treated like shit. Like I wasn't treated kindly and nicely. Like we argued all the goddamn time. Like it was, really. I'm not gonna say fierce, but it was definitely no giving, no taking, no like. And I would be like, yo, why y'all don't talk back to her? Like why y'all let her like, nah, I'm gonna argue with her. And you'd be like, no, no, no. And I'm like, no, fuck that. You ain't gonna convince me of some shit that I think is wrong. And like, we would be sitting at the kitchen table, like, it, I can only imagine how she had to look at this obnoxious 19, 20, 21-year-old who got the audacity to talk back to her and say like her beliefs are fucking crazy. And for her to have the total opposite perspective and come at me like, you young mother, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. But I think to your point about where we are now is that those same two people who still are very, very obstinate in their beliefs have really just accepted that you're just going to be you. And we will accept that, walk away from each other. Like she walks away from me more than I walk away from her though. But she'll definitely just like try to change the subject or just, okay, I think I'm going to go in my room now. Like, oh, I done crossed the line. Like shit. So it definitely has changed. And your pops also, you didn't mention him, but I think he kind of liked me. I don't know about initially, but I definitely think it didn't take him long to just at least not hate me. Like, I mean, I think,
no. Daddy liked you from the beginning.
yeah.
Like, and I can't remember when or how y'all met, but I remember afterwards him talking to me, and he was like, pretty much, he's a good guy.
It probably was. I mean, there were times we had to stop by his house on the way up to school. So it was a lot of times where I would kind of see him there. But yeah, I think I'll vouch for your description of how your family kind of took me in. Your extended family, you didn't mention them either. I think they've liked me from the jump too. From your aunts to your cousins, they've always kind of, I don't know what that's about because they're an interesting bunch.
That's because my cousins want you. And my one of them for sure. Yeah, and my aunt, I don't know that there's anybody she doesn't like.
You know, what's so crazy is that's like a 20-year, 25-year observation of you and two of your sisters. And I'm like, why can't she just like want to talk to me? Yeah, like, no, that's not it.
What? Wait, what?
You, Stephanie, and Norma would be like, she like you. I'm like, nah, we just kicking it. Like, not at all. Nah.
Nah, because she wants you. We know her.
Right.
I didn't realize, or maybe I forgot, that they felt the same way. See, I know what I'm talking about. It's just added credence to what I'm saying.
Just because y'all wouldn't talk to her, don't get mad because I'm talking to her.
Anyway.
So, funniest thing I've ever witnessed with well, I've ever heard from somebody introducing their now wife. So, one of my friends, with his wife, now I met her, of course, after they were married, but he would always tell the story of the first time he brought his wife home, his then girlfriend. His dad pulled him into the kitchen and was like, kind of like, Pooh's dad, but he pulled him into the kitchen like, Leroy, that's a pretty bitch.
Wasn't sure.
Uh,
Um,
that's the funniest ever.
I'd also like to say we liked Lady from Jump 2. Like from the early days, instantly she fit in pretty good on it with us glimpse on this side.
I mean, I think we hit it off pretty good when I met y'all too.
Hmm.
Love y'all forever.
Where did we meet? Was it at y'all's house?
When Lincoln was born.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. I mean, and it's a few. It's a few people in the family now, and I'm sure we can all relate. But it sure is like, damn, you talk to them more than I do now. So Gina was one of them. I'm like, oh, that's Gina. I don't talk to Gina that much. Like, so between Gina and Keisha, and yeah, like you and Keisha, it was really like, oh, tell my cousin I said hey, tell my sister I said hey. I ain't talked to him in a minute, but it's all right. So yeah, go ahead.
Did it matter? Did it matter to y'all whether or not your family liked your spouse? I mean, it mattered in the sense of,
Would it have stopped me?
Right.
or influenced you in any way. Like, was there, yeah, like was that important to you?
Nah,
Yes.
I'm defiant, and I would have did it anyway.
Well, yeah, it's important. It wasn't gonna stop me, right?
Right.
Obviously, shit, I was still dating you. My mama was giving you the business, and I was still dating you. But I think it is important because I spend a lot of time and have a lot of high regard for my family, so I would want them to like you too. That would be something I would have wanted. So I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, like again, like I wouldn't want to have to go to family functions and have to like hold my wife's hand everywhere we went because nobody liked her. So I'm grateful that she has her own relationships with people, and I don't have to like keep checking in and making sure she's okay. But yeah, if they if my family didn't like her, it wouldn't have stopped me.
So Keita and Thomas, I think we definitely have. Well, I can't remember Thomas. Well, everything happened so fast, so I guess it wouldn't have been a deciding factor for you all since you started living before they actually met your parents. And so are you going to say something?
Who?
Keita or Thomas? I just thought I heard
Oh
something.
no, I'm just listening. Nah, I was just moving. Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day, and really in regards to my daughter, because the young man that she's dating, she had been dating him for a few months, and she was like, "It's not time." She would talk about him, and she was like, "I don't want y'all to meet yet." And these young people, they go through they have these titles that aren't titles, and we can't be title, and it's not official, and you definitely can't meet him before he becomes my official boyfriend, and but aren't y'all exclusive? Yeah, but we're not boyfriend and girlfriend yet. Okay, whatever. But it was this idea of like, while I understand it and I went through it and I appreciate not wanting or people not wanting to bring just anybody over to the family, right? I thought like, okay, but by the time you're 4, 5, 6 months in, then you've clearly made some decisions about this person. You're probably fairly serious about them, if not very. Once you bring them home, then my opinion is really neither here nor there at the end of the day, right? Because you've already caught feelings. So it's not like, if I'm like, nah, I don't like this dude or I like this woman, you're going to be like, okay, my mom don't like you, so I can't date you. Um, I guess it never really hit me before, like seeing it in that way, but it's one of those things that also doesn't really make a difference because they wouldn't. Like my daughter would not be like, oh, I can't see you because my mama said or because my daddy said, but in some ways you want that because, we kind of have a different lens that comes with a little more, wisdom and you're just able to
Fuckery
see things.
sensors.
Yeah, right. You can see things that they not
Mhm.
necessarily are able to see. Um, yeah, it's just an interesting place to be, right? Because then you also, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but I'm of the belief that, the more you fight something with young people, the more they're going to gravitate toward that thing.
Damn right.
So it's how much do you say? How much do you not say? I find myself putting myself in the remembering what it was like to be 24 again or 21. Like where was my head and how, developmentally appropriate is this thing or that thing or whatever. But anyway, so I've just been thinking about, what our role is here, or how much our opinion counts or not. Yeah, I don't, it's just going through these different stages of life with your children or just on a personal level. It's just real interesting.
That's weird because, like, even meeting Lay's family, like, I've never had that, and maybe it's the arrogant glimp in me, but it never crossed my mind that they wouldn't like me. So,
Hey, that's hilarious.
right? Well, it never even dawned on me that was a possibility. So
That's that glimp arrogance, doesn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
the glimpse of noxious in me is I didn't care because the only one I really cared who liked me was Gina.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, I guess why I was so at that point in my life, why I was really just showing my ass, honestly, because I mean, like if some dude acted like that to me, I would definitely look at him real different, even though that's how I was acting. But what motivated me at the moment was like, honestly, I'm not really here to impress you. I'm with her, and that's all that counts. That's just how I looked at it then.
But it's
And
so funny, right? Because that's that glimpse shit too, right? So I'm here, not trying to impress you. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. But when I take you to my family, I care about what they think, and I want them to be impressed by you.
Right.
But that shit don't have to happen for me, and I just don't give a fuck.
Like, be on your best behavior. You're going to meet glimpse.
that's definitely my slice of crazy right there. That's me. I'm crazy like that.
All right.
God bless your wife.
Amen. And power to the people.
Right.
Again, just a space as your children. Y'all got a few more years, but not many with your oldest. Yeah, just something else to think about. What is that going to be for me? What is it? Yeah, I don't know. It's a little scary, personally.
Pooh, Keita, y'all preparing for Carter?
Well, I'm
Or is
pretty.
he forcing you to prepare?
I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty cool. I think it might be you.
You sound like you're speaking for yourself.
I think y'all got a pretty close race there. How old is Carter?
He's 13.
Mm-hmm. Y'all neck and neck. We'll see who gets to the finish line first. It'll be interesting. Now I'll be on the sidelines watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Just try not to let them drive you crazy. That's all I ask. Try not to let them drive me crazy.
I already know Carter's gonna be sneaky. He doesn't like to tell us stuff. I try my best to be like, I'm open and all this stuff, but he's not that personality. Mm-mm. He'll just be like, just bringing him over.
That sounds like me.
Oh my God.
That's what I feel.
Maybe it'll change.
But he know I'm strong about some things, so hopefully he'll listen. Definitely give us a chance first. I always tell him that because he had a situation with some black girls at his school, and he was like, "Mommy, why are they so mean? They always mean." I was like, Carter, that's just their personality. It's not like they're mean or anything. They just have real strong opinions. They don't want me to sit beside them on the bus. Give them a chance. Give them a chance.
So is he looking elsewhere?
No, it's not that he's looking elsewhere, but I kind of like, the school that he goes to, he is like not many. So, but he seems pretty good. I think he'll give him a chance. Cause I'm always talking about it.
So is that one of those things that you were talking about when you said you're strong on some things? Is that one of them?
Yes.
So you would have a problem, like it would be a real thing if he came home with.
I wouldn't say a problem, but I just feel like a lot of guys that's that their age now, they just don't even give the girls a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of cop out. They don't want the challenge. Because I feel like if they with a black girl or whatever, that it's a challenge. We're strong in a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So, but we're soft too. And you just have to find that soft side. Because it's not that we hold like a real block or whatever, like don't touch and all that stuff. It's just, I don't know where it comes from, but that's just how we are. But I feel like guys just cop out now and don't want the challenge.
Interesting. I think that might be another another show topic. But you know what, Keita? I feel like you've done that a few times. Like you drop some stuff and we be like, right. Just add that to the
Man,
list.
that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
And I say my Puerto Rican women too, because they have the same personality. I mean, because we all alike. You know what I'm saying? We have the African roots or whatever. So we'll talk about that on another show.
I feel like whatever he good with, I'm good with. And that's my take on it.
Say the person that went with girls.
Whatever he's happy with, whatever give him butterflies, I'm good with it.
Whatever give him butterflies.
Yeah.
Even if it's a butterfly.
And that's and that's, as they say, doing right by him. I'm good with it.
All right.
Hey, look, that's some solid advice. Seriously.
So
he
one
doing right
give
by
it up
you.
easy. He good with.
Why I say something like that?
Is she doing right by you and she giving you butterflies? Hey. Go for it. I mean, you can't go. Hey, you can't go, but so wrong. But all right, y'all. Before we start a whole nother show,
yes,
I think we should go ahead and say goodnight because I feel like we keep edging, and you know how we do, y'all. We sometimes we just can't. What'd you say?
You know how we do.
Sometimes we just can't stop. So I'm going to save us from ourselves. Thanks for joining. We will see you next week, same time, same channel. Good night, y'all.
Good night, y'all.
All right, peace.
Peace.
We're told that greatness is exceptional when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life Gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.